It's been a few days since we looked over the Dexerto article in regards to the new YouTube policies launching on July 15th, 2025, and in regards to some issues that it may run into with React content. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth. Was sent this today in the Discord server. I'm trying to find a source on this personally, and I will get into a lot of this is kind of hearsay, as well as there being a lot of contention with this. So allegedly, YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice, which people like me do, and produce original content starting July 15th. I meet all four pillars of fair use for all intents and purposes, making reused videos, copied content, low-effort uploads, and fully AI-generated videos will be ineligible for monetization. So, obviously, with all this in mind, thus we come to Twitter, right? We come to the weird part of the internet, as I'll call it. The biggest post on this has been this Say Cheese user. I don't know who they are. Starting July 15th, YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice to produce original content. Following will not be eligible for monetization. Reused or repurposed videos, copied content, low effort upload, and fully AI generated videos. There is a YouTube note. There's a community note that says YouTube won't be introducing any major changes on July 15th. However, the platform will be strengthening its policy to identify and flag original content. This type of content has been ineligible for monetization for quite some time now. Personally, I view this as a nothing burger. Right? Generally, look to community posts. This does come across as a nothing burger. So one of the big things that has been touted around with this specifically has been, well, if you're not using your face, right? If you're not using your face, if you're not using your original voice, right? So I do want to bring up a very massive privacy concern, one that I myself have, which probably led to my PayPal getting hacked. I can't say it legally. I can't accuse this, YouTuber or any claimant of this happening. However, what I can say is that because of the copyright system, because there are false DMCA claims filed against my channel, and I have to sign with my legal name, there are claimants who had zero ability, zero legal standing to claim videos. I have to send them my legal name, and they can just redact the claim without any further, oh, well, I'm sorry, we're just going to redact the claim within a few minutes. Now, whatever South American entity, Indian entity, whatever, whoever claim it, you could be Joe Random or Jane Random on the internet, claim a video, and then I have to send you my legal name. And that's not just me. This is other VTubers, other creators. And sure, you can use a law firm, and I think you can sign a very specific way with those. However, for those of us who can't afford legal retainers, right, like, a law firm on retainer, our names are just out there. So I can have someone from halfway across the world know my full legal name and do anything they want with it. That is a problem, YouTube. So my concern with this, when we're talking about, well, you must use your real voice, especially in the the era of AI replication, right? And YouTube having enrolling channels and using videos for AI training, right? So using your real voice and real face become a massive security concern for many. Look, not all of us are Mr. Beast, okay? People like us, right? We don't hire people like Ava Chris Tyson and associate with Ava Chris Tyson. Not all of us are Logan Paul, right? I'm sorry, Logal. Need to make sure we're using the correct legal name here from his lawyers, right? Not all of us are Logal Paul. Want to do weird electric things with rats and, what do you call it as well? The Japanese force incident, and that's clearly not punished. The other issue that opens up with this is, remember that Sniper Wolf situation with Jack's Films? Remember that? That's going to be way easier now, is that not? Quantum TV versus Actman, right? So if you're using your real face and your real voice, and we have precedent that, Jack's Film and Quantum TV can happen, what is going to happen to VTubers, right? Especially in a time right now where the internet is so volatile. So right now, right off the bat, I already have massive security concerns, right? If it comes down to, Kip, you must face reveal to keep your job, bro, I'm going to monetize my ugly mug so quick, okay? Like, I will monetize this, right? We're going to go mukbang status. I'm going to go eat an entire family of 6 lasagna on stream. It's going to be great, okay? I will maliciously comply, don't get me wrong. But for many, this isn't reasonable, and that's not fair. Especially, right, when the React content that I do is fair use. I have totally reached out to YouTubers like Terminal Montage who are against React content, and I've called them a hypocrite because they, in their policy, in their Patreon Q&A, please report any unauthorized uploads, and they don't do anything about it. So Let's get over this whole like React content equals bad, right? There is bad React content that needs to be dealt with. However, if you are complying with the pillars of fair use, especially if you have, hey, it's okay to react to my content and people react to your content, right? Reasonably, I would argue it's more transformative than some of the slop I've seen people watch, right? Where I'll watch somebody just read a compilation of Reddit post, right? And that's reposting. This does come down. Is that not a low effort, is it not no effort content? Is that not copied content? Is it not reused and repurposed for videos? Scary Ring doorbell camera videos, right? How many times have you seen the same scary, like, dash cam footage, Ring doorbell camera? Does that not classify as lazy? And this does get into the real meat and potatoes of why I have a lot of criticism with this, is who's deciding what is original and what is repurposed. All art is derivative, right? If you make big booba anime waifu, it's going to be derivative of something, right? And then you make something original out of that, right? Silent Hill, right? The movies, derivative off of Centralia, Pennsylvania. The series took a lot of inspiration from Jacob's Ladder, right? Tolkien, right? Lord of the Rings, derivative of Tolkien's experience in World War I, was it not? Derivative isn't bad. You have to make something new with it. And I do these commentary videos from time to time, especially when there's something that's like, okay, I can physically talk about this, right? But derivative doesn't necessarily equal bad. I would argue a lot of what people do on YouTube is bad. And so here's why I think React content in itself will probably be fine, at least at a high level. Mr. Beast has a React channel, does he not? Rest of your feelings on the man. Look, I'm not, don't really kind of apathetic, right? I don't want to, I can't support, associating with individuals like Ava Chris Tyson, right? Pretty L in my book, right? Just choose not to engage with it. I'm just sitting here, like, he has a React channel. Sniper Wolf still reacts. XQC reacts. Asmongold reacts, right? So React content should reasonably be fine in a lot of ways, but if we are seeing low effort channels hit, and this is why it's important to self-police, hey, you're not reacting enough, right? Hey, you need to be pausing. We need to normalize pausing because we're self-policing the sphere, right? Because we don't want people like YouTube, right? Saying, well, what is and isn't original content? You know what's not original content? Let's Plays. You know what's not, it's a low effort upload? I'm using this as an example from a YouTube corporate perspective. Someone like AlphaRad using stream clips for a Nuzlocke and putting them into a clip comp. I love the man. I think he's cool. I like a lot of people he streams with. Well, Pixie, Jaden, Animations, right? Streams with a lot of cool people, right? From a corporate perspective, how long does it take to vilify uploads like that, or vilify uploads like by Vinny Vinesauce, right? Stream comps, Tomoyo Mare, right? Doing maybe low effort, quote unquote, short contents in the eyes from a corporate entity until they're starting to push, things like high production Mr. Beast style videos, things with higher production quality. If you have to use your original face, right? Your actual face and voice, people like Seth Talk will be affected. People like Fleekazoid will be affected. Every VTuber is going to be affected by this. So I view this as a massive L if YouTube is going to require face and voice, because security is a massive concern. And I'm sure there's something in the legal, terms of service, the EULA, when you sign up, that's going to be like, well, we do waive right to liability and stuff like this. It will not surprise me if we start seeing a uptick in deepfakes, if we start seeing more Sniper Wolf situations, right? People showing up to people's houses because, well, I don't agree with this Kip dude, right? Using a comment that I always bring up. I'm going to aim for this, tall purple anime dude from Idaho, right? Verbatim. And suddenly someone makes a claim against my channel and they know my legal name, and now they'll know my legal face. They know I live in Idaho. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Kip, I found your address online. Okay? You have 5 seconds to go away before I'm calling the cops. Why would you put someone in position like that? Do you put someone in position like this at a place you work? Say you're a contractor, even if you're self-employed. Do you put your employees in something like this? Or do you as a manager go, hey, there's right to privacy, things like that, right? We need to make sure we're protecting our employees. Working at a financial institution, sure, yeah, you're kind of on the front line, especially handling calls in situations like I did, right? Or even if you're a teller, right? But like, there's a reasonable like, hi, my name is John Finance, right? You're not giving them your last name. You're not giving them your home address. You're not working for myself, right? And a lot of us who are quote unquote self-employed, working for ourselves via social media, there is a shocking lack of accountability up the chain. So, moral of the story. What you take out of this. In terms of React content, I think that'll be fine. Reused or repurposed videos, this quote-unquote original and authentic content, you don't want YouTube determining that. And here's the thing. Here, at minimum, you don't want YouTube determining that because at the end of the day, you watch what you want to watch. You, as a viewer, as a consumer, should dictate what you watch, right? My dad's been watching this, I don't know, it's not AI. I don't know how he does it. Like this Bigfoot series on YouTube with like Zork and Alien. And I mean, this thing, it's cool, right? Is it necessarily something that I'd watch? Probably not a lot, but it's funny and he enjoys it and other people enjoy it, right? Like, if you want to watch Sniper Wolf React content, well, many of us might not agree with how she does React content. You should have the ability to watch that. It's no different than pitching a product. It's no different. This is what I have to sell you. Chat, dear viewer, I am selling you a video about one of the dumbest alleged YouTube policy changes. And you, as a consumer viewer, get to go, I wish to watch that, or I do not wish to watch that. That's how the exchange works. You don't want YouTube to come on in and determine what is and isn't, because that is going to set precedent for a very slippery slope. And even if people aren't meeting all 4 pillars of copyright law, they're being transformative, they're adding content, they're adding value, that can and will still be overridden. So this is one of those where fully AI generated videos, I don't see it going away personally, especially when YouTube itself is using it. If anything, you could argue they're pulling the ladder up from above them in an aspect, right, where they're using your videos and your content for AI training, but whoa, we don't want AI training. We don't want AI videos up on the platform. Low effort uploads and copied content inherently speaks to me, not necessarily of clip compilation channels, even if they're authorized by whoever they're from, right? Like, hi, I am Big Vtuber. You may make Big Vtuber clip channel, right? Literally with authorization from the original person, right? And we talked in the last one, we have had clip channels from YouTube's inception, right? We have had, clips of Fred, clips of Shane Dawson, etc., right? If you're going to, hit the funny red nuke button on something like this, there needs to be a massive, this is what applies here. This is what is, this is what isn't. And there needs to be a way to challenge if something is wrong. We already know that YouTube, doesn't go through anything. Admittance from the last video in the Dexerto article. They don't go through everything. Reasonably so. Like, there's so much to go through that how do you go through everything? And this is sending up red flags from a security perspective. If there's anything you take away from it, I want people to look at this from a security perspective, even if you're not a React VTuber, right? Think of any YouTuber who does not use your face. And I've dropped some pretty good ones in this video, right? Says Zentalk, Fleekazoid. Sure, if they're using the original video, the original audio, the original voice, that's going to be fine. That's just business as usual. If there is something, which I'm hearing about potentially using your face, and I can't substantiate any of this because I'm using this all as hearsay at this point, right? This isn't an official YouTube post, right? I've scrolled through some of it, and a lot of it, it's community noted. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who are saying, get the funny McDonald's app, right? Get your McDonald's application in when the July 15th rolls around. There needs to be a better way of doing this. And I know there's not going to be. That's just how it is. But I view this as a massive L. I view this as a massive security concern, especially when there are people who for years haven't used their face. And even some of them who don't use their real voice. And that's fine, right? So looking at a policy like this, the pirate software bit, the one that's viral around the internet, the amount of dumb that I've just received is like spending 12 hours on Twitter, right? Eat my entire redacted. That's kind of how I view this, if this is in fact the policy. Because sure, while I'm affected, this is going to affect people in a negative capacity, and this is a huge security risk. But the end of the day, come to your own conclusions. This is one man's rants and rambles on this, on what could happen. At the end of the day, July 15th could come around and nothing could happen. Ultimately, it could be seen as a net positive. Obviously, it's Twitter, so you're obviously curating, people rage baiting. You're curating people who want to watch others suffer in a capacity, right? Get the McDonald's app out, you get the application, and put the fries in the bag, Mr. VTuber man. But come to your own educated conclusion on this. I think we should be worried if this is a starting point going forward, because this signals to me, with current copyright, there are going to be people physically IRL who are going to get Jack's Film Sniper Wolf. But thank you for watching. Have a good one.